Dead by Daylight is an anomaly of its own. A game with this fluctuating quality should not be as popular as it is. And yet, for some reason, we just love it. And I think that is a great testament to a good game, or at least a good game design. Where sometimes you just can't pin down why you like it, you just do. That's how I feel about this stupid game. Now, you may be wondering what was the deal with my previous video. The answer is a little complicated. This video was actually supposed to be a video on the nurse, but I realized I couldn't quite pin down what to say on the nurse. She's just not a character I'm passionate about. I really hate going back on my promise like this, and I'm not gonna say I promise anymore because then that sets up expectations that I probably cannot meet. But I might get back to doing the nurse one day. But until then, I have decided to do something new. Dead by Daylight 2: The Fog of the Entity. Now, I should probably clarify something. I am not a game developer, so I can't make this game myself. This video series is mainly just about me throwing ideas at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I would love to hear your. And that's where all you come in, actually. You see, I like my ideas, but I know they are far from perfect. So, I want you all to help me with this little pet project I'm working on. You don't have to do much or anything really. All you all you wa- all I want you to do, I'm not even going to make you. If you just want to watch, you can watch. But all want you to do is comment on my ideas. Or, better yet, throw some ideas of your own out there. What's the worst that can happen? The game exists less? Yeah, good luck with that. Alright. Metaphorical and philosophical junk out of the way. Let's get on to what you all wanted. Why? And a question that you may be asking. I guess this because this is a question I ask myself. Why would Dead by Daylight need a sequel? Well, for starters, the game is just really popular, so a sequel is kind of a no brainer. But, in all seriousness, I need you to know two things. One, this video idea was not all my idea. I am fan. I'm a fan of Dusteroo, another Dead by Daylight creator, and he proposed the idea of a sequel a little while back, which eventually inspired this. After I sat on the idea for a long time, but the other thing is, Dead by Daylight is a great game built on a very poor foundation. Yes, it is doing well so far, but it is nowhere near the standards we expect from games like this. And we have seen how these games can evolve and change due to games like Evolve. Ironic, I know. Left 4 Dead, the grandfather of all this. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, and all those weird Roblox games. Showing that this market still exists. And that Dead by Daylight. But how can it improve exactly? What what do we change? Do we change anything? How would a sequel help? Well, these are really hard questions to answer, honestly. But I think a sequel can help because the game that we have right now is built with what I like to call spaghetti code, mainly because I'm a Team Fortress 2 fan, and that's what it calls, and that's what the community calls it. So that's what I'll call it too, spaghetti code. So having a new game with the same fundamental ideas made with code that's actually responsive would be really helpful. The code for Dead by Daylight needs some improvement. Plus, I think a sequel to Dead by Daylight would give this whole thing more wiggle room. So, the way I see it, there are two fundamental reasons why Dead by Daylight is amazing, and two fundamental reasons why it also sucks. It sucks because it has a very poor foundation, which we've already discussed, but also because it can get really repetitive. Yes, it's a great game and we love it, but it's not something we're going to come back to every single day despite what the developers want us to do. Because if you really think about it, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't change much, which can be a good draw, but it can also throw people away because they want something different. But I think it succeeds because of two things. The first and obvious one is the brand recognition. If you have a good game, that's one thing, but if you have a good game with Michael Myers in it, oh, now we're talking. But as games like Friday the 13th have taught us, brand recognition alone will not make you successful. And that's why solid gameplay is the second reason. Because even though it's fundamentally flawed, there is a good game in there with deep and interesting mechanics that keep people guessing, mind games, and palettes, and a lot of things that I cannot explain in this video make this game amazing. However, making a sequel, there are going to be some challenges. Let me get the first one out of the way. I don't work for Behavior. Despite being Dead by Daylight's biggest peddler, I don't work on the game. I don't even work at behavior. So all these changes that I want to make, I can't. But that's not going to stop me from at least sharing my ideas. Another problem that we could come across is behavior either ignoring this or lack of funds or anything like that. But we all knew that going in. No, the big problem is trying to take the magic of Dead by Daylight and replicating it. It seems like a sunk cost fallacy. It seems like just something in a daydream, honestly, more than actually happening. Because Dead by Daylight just seems to be that kind of thing that only works once, considering how many other asymmetrical horror games have failed. But that's not entirely true, as games like the Roblox games, for instance, like Sonic.exe The Disaster and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, have proven to us, there's still a market who would appreciate some really good games out of this niche. So, a Dead by Daylight 2, a sequel to a game that, let's just be honest, set this whole niche running in the first place, would be a good way to start. But keeping the magic that kept Dead by Daylight alive for so long, 8 years, and putting it into a new game, it seems impossible, honestly. And it's very apparent to me that we are going to mess up. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, this isn't an official game. Unless somebody at Behavior sees this video and says that this is a good idea. But let's just face it, I have 11 subscribers. That's not going to happen. Which, thank you, by the way. That wasn't sarcastic. I actually mean it. Thank you for your support. But this whole series is mostly made just for fun. And if something along these lines gets turned into an actual game, then I'll be happy. But if it doesn't, or it results in a fan project, or if people just like this idea and continue to iterate on it, then hey, I'll still be happy. So, over the course of the next few videos, I'm going to be listing out some potential ideas. And then we can work together to iterate on them and see what we can improve and or get rid of. What would we bring over to Dead by Daylight? Like what characters, what maps, all that stuff. The next few videos will be about adding the new stuff. You know, everything I just said except it's brand new. And finally, the last few videos and or comments that we make will basically be the miscellaneous stuff. Like balance tweaking and or if I've done something bad and I see that a comment has done a better idea of what I've said, or just came up with a better idea in general, I will make a follow up video and use their idea. With credit, of course. Because honestly, I really can't do this without you guys. I am just so happy that you guys are willing to watch my videos, despite my weird nature. It means the world to me, honestly. So, without further ado, let's get started on Dead by Daylight 2.